So to continue refining my drawing, now I'm going to use linear perspective. And linear perspective, if we know the rules of perspective, we can use it to perfect the drawing as we go, especially if you have something like a box shape like our book. Now, the first rule of linear perspective is that vertical lines should stay vertical. So we want to go through this. I like to go through, and any vertical lines I don't have a lot of them, but I have this one. We got to make sure that they are vertical. That's something that a lot of people forget about, but it's important because that can really mess up the look of your drawing. So if your lines aren't perfectly vertical, go back over them and get them nice and straight. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Now, the next thing to think about when you're thinking about linear perspective is where you are in relationship to the setup. So in my case, I'm pretty far above the setup. I'm way up here. This is my eye level. And your eye level is your horizon line. So if you ever want to find your horizon line, it's only your eye level. The second thing to think about is parallel lines. Now, in reality, this edge of the book, this edge of the book, this edge, and the top of the backing of the book, they're all parallel. They don't really look that way. There's an optical illusion that makes them look like they're at angles, but in reality, they are parallel. Now, the rule of linear perspective says that parallel lines come together as they move away from us, and they'll do so in a way that they will eventually touch on one point on the horizon line, and that point is called a vanishing point. So you can see here in my drawing, I have this line and this line, and you can see that they seem to be tapering together. They seem to be coming together as they move away, and that's a good thing. This line also, it's coming together, and it does so in a way that it seems like eventually, way off my page, somewhere on the horizon line, they're going to meet. I want to make sure that this line does the same thing. It's headed in the same direction. I might adjust it slightly so that it's still heading up to the horizon line, but it is now at an angle where it's going to meet the other 1, 2, 3 lines way off my page on that side. Now that's going off to the right, but I have lines going off here to the left. So in reality, this line, and this back side of the book, they're all parallel. But in my drawing, they don't look that way. I need to make sure that they feel like they're coming together, all three of them, they're tapering together as they move off to the left, right, until they meet the horizon line, and we should sort of try to make sure that they seem as though they're going to hit on the same place on the horizon line. We're sort of guesstimating because my vanishing points are so far off the page. So I can adjust my drawing, right? And if I need to make any corrections, I can correct it. But I want to make sure that those are coming together as they move away from us. Because we have a vanishing point off to the left and we have a vanishing point going off to the right, we call this a 2-point perspective drawing. One last thing to be aware of is this back line here. If we could see the full book, right, we would notice that this line and the front of the book there, they would come together as they go away from us, but they're not going to hit on the horizon line. And the reason for that is this is at an angle. It's an inclined plane. In inclined planes, the parallel lines come together as they move away from us, but in this case, the vanishing point would be way above the horizon line.